watching News 24 Live. Our Story, Your Story is a Clowns Without Borders project that aims to connect generations and communities through storytelling. Founder Lisa Cohen and Andiswa Mgetle are in studio with us this afternoon to tell us a bit more about the initiative. Ladies, thanks very much for coming in. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure. So Lisa, you're the founder. Now when you say storytelling, we're not talking necessarily about nursery rhymes, folklore. It's more about, you were saying, autobiographical life stories. Why is that so effective?
When we share our stories, there is something that happens, there's a connection that happens when you share your personal story with someone. It goes beyond any boundaries, so it's a form of connection. Yeah.
Andiswa, what's your role exactly in this project? And is I mean, the fact that it's been such a success because Africans do come from a tradition of, well, an oral tradition of storytelling.
Okay, in my role as a facilitator, I used to work as first thing, my background, I did the ECD. So I used to be a facilitator for the parenting program where we work with the parents, working with parents having the children with the challenging behavior from 2 to 9 years. So then this year I started working with Our Story, Your Story, which means for me it was something new. So I also to get the process of sharing my stories and hear other people sharing their personal stories. And then to hear that the connection between the races, and also it's like just to have the experience of connecting with other people.
So tell us some of the success stories, Lisa. How exactly has this worked? How has it brought generations together? And has that storytelling tradition been lost, and why?
So the project works in a specific kind of way, this particular project. We separate the groups, so we start with the youth separate, and we work with them and we mine stories and they tell stories about their life. And at the same time, in the afternoon or the morning, we'll be working with the seniors and also mining for stories. And then at some point in the process, we bring the two groups together and they share their stories with each other. And so we're in the middle of the process at the moment. We've just brought the two groups together, and last week was quite an incredible experience.
Just to add on what Lisa is saying, it's like in terms of the reflection, I think yesterday one of the seniors mentions that they don't get the opportunity to share their stories in their own children. So it's kind of like they are being grateful to share their stories in the youth, with the youth. So I think that's one of the things that motivate us. It's like doing the autobiographic stories.
But in terms of cross-cultural, I mean, what's that experience been like? Obviously, because of our past, when you have members from the black community and the white community sharing their stories, which I'm sure are vastly different.
It is so important because in the beginning we work with the youth from different schools with different cultures. So there was like this reflection from this youth. There were like 2 blacks and 1 colored. And then she kind of say she couldn't believe when they were telling stories like their stories were similar, although they come from different racial backgrounds.
You guys piloted this project last year, I believe, in Nyanga and Andiswa. It's obviously gained momentum, and now I believe at the end of July, you're hosting a workshop where there'll be a wider audience for a lot of these performers. Can you just explain that or tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, the performances that are coming on the 29th and the 30th. We have the performances from that will be happening on the 29th. It's going to be in the evening. That we will have like a different audience that they will be experiencing the youth and the seniors. And then on the 30th, we'll be also having another performances that will be happening in Philippines in the senior club, which is it's the environment that are comfortable in it.
Lisa, do you think this is an initiative that is specific to Africa because of this sort of oral tradition, or can it work in other communities and other organizations? in organizations?
So I have a belief that stories are innate in all cultures. So it can work across cultures, across countries, universes, jokes. So it's a really powerful process to work with individuals, groups, within groups, across groups. It makes a difference, yeah.